The prequels were, well, they were heavily criticized when they came out. But lately, there's been sort of a, I don't know, sort of a renaissance of appreciation for these movies, especially after the sequel trilogy. But I've always kind of liked them. I was always kind of like, they're not bad. But then when the Clone Wars came out, man, that show just made me appreciate the prequels even more. But there's always room for improvement, right? So let's take out a look at a fan edit of the entire prequel trilogy by Hal9000 called Hal9000's Prequel Trilogy. On all the descriptions for each movie in the Hal9000 Prequel Trilogy, he says that by stripping away extraneous tangents and bolstering attention to character development, these edits seek to improve the original films. The original trilogy is regarded as the template toward which the prequels strive. The prequels are made to submit to the continuity and drive of the originals to the degree possible. Now, before we get too far into this, just know that if you're interested in watching fan edits, my suggestion is to search for the name of the editor and the name of the movie, the name of each individual movie. It's something that with YouTube doing what they're doing with taking down videos for links and things, I don't want to have any sort of problems on my channel. So that's why I won't be linking them there. But again, in this case, the editor is Hal9000. And then search for the movie that you're wanting to see, and you'll probably find it. One of the things right off the bat that I want to talk about for the entire trilogy that he's done, Hal9000, he has included multiple subtitle tracks and multiple audio tracks, including a commentary for each one. So he basically goes into some of the decisions that were made and where some of these come from. Because I think in a lot of ways, what Hal9000 has done is taken a look at a lot of different fan edits and incorporated a lot of the best ideas into one sort of ultimate version of each movie in the prequels. First up, Episode 1, Cloak of Deception. The original running time for Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, is 2 hours and 16 minutes. He's taken this down to 1 hour and 51 minutes. And in a lot of ways, it's these little bitty moments. There's these, I don't know, what would you call goofy, I guess, kind of goofy scenes. He's taken those back. So it's sort of like it just streamlines the entire movie and kind of gets rid of some of the, let's just call it nonsense. There's still some funny stuff in there. There's still some kind of goofy, jokey stuff. Jar Jar's still there, but there are whole moments that are taken out. One of the things that's been taken out that's kind of a bummer for me, just because I guess I'm older and it doesn't bother me as much, but he's taken a lot of the droid voices out. So, the Roger stuff, a lot of that's been taken out. Like I said, over the years, I guess I've softened to that. Maybe it's the Clone Wars that has helped me kind of like warm up, I guess, to the battle droid voices. But yeah, those have been taken out. And one scene that's been taken out completely was the trip to Gungan City. So where you meet Boss Nass. You don't meet Boss Nass until almost the end of the movie. So it's sort of a strange, like, oh, we're already here. Okay, cool, let's go. The thing really about Episode 1 is it feels like there's not a whole lot of entire scenes that have been taken out. Most of it is, like I said, these small little moments, of, let's just call it goofy stuff, Jar Jar goofy stuff. That's been taken out. But a lot of the great stuff remains. And one of the things I guess you could say is a controversial thing for Episode 1 is the talk of the midichlorians. That's completely gone. So every mention of midichlorians is completely removed from the movie. Overall, I don't see that Episode 1, Cloak of Deception, was really that much different from The Phantom Menace. Of course, almost 25 minutes have been taken out, but it still feels like The Phantom Menace to me. There's not like a huge departure in the way that the story is told. I really enjoyed it. I thought he did a great job. And again, the thing that really sets this apart from a lot of the different fan edits that I've seen so far is, like I said, the inclusion of subtitles, the commentaries, the 5.1 surround sound. That's not something I'm used to seeing in a fan edit. So we get to episode 2, called The Approaching Storm. This one is taken from 2 hours and 22 minutes down to an hour and 58 minutes. So almost 25 minutes. Yeah, this one has a lot of changes, a lot of differences, which, in my opinion, really improved the movie. For all of these movies, by the way, you can go to the fan edit, I guess, homepage, I guess, on fanedit.org, and you can see all of the changes that the editor makes, and you can kind of almost with a checklist go down the list. I didn't watch the movie that way. I tried to watch the movie as an experience and how different the whole experience was. But there's a ton of changes in this one. A lot of deleted scenes from episode 2 have been put back in. Especially, look, the addition of a few more political scenes actually add to the story, add to the, I guess, to the intrigue of what's going on. And then further, there's some deleted scenes that are put back in with regards to Anakin and Padme's, I guess, budding romance. It actually makes it make a little more sense, and makes it, I mean, look, Anakin's still creepy, okay, especially at the beginning, but it definitely feels different, and it feels a little more earned, I guess. In particular, there's a scene that just kind of shocked me at how much I believed it. It's like a different version of the I guess when Anakin and Padme are about to go into the arena, and she basically says, I love you, and he's like, what? And he's like, she goes, I truly, deeply love you, and it's kind of a cheesy, terrible scene. It's edited in a way that it just makes sense, and it flows better, and it just really worked for me. Two big moments that were taken out completely that I noticed, that I was kind of like, wow, okay. One was an extreme improvement, and one was oh man, why'd you take that out? But look, it's not my edit, right? So the droid factory scene has always been a strange scene to me because not a lot happens story-wise. It's almost like one of those things where, oh look, this is what we can do now. This is what we can do with CG, and I'm like, let's move the story along. You don't really get very far. Anyway, that has been cut down considerably, including R2 and 3PO. They just stay on the ship. They stay on the ship, and they're not present in the droid factory scene or the battle later. Where, 3PO's head is on a battle droid's body. Doesn't happen. None of that happens. It's just completely cut out. And I actually, as much as I love R2-D2, I don't like the 3PO stuff. It's always been cheesy and weird and almost forced to me. And so it's just gone. And I have to say, I really like that. I really like that a lot. But then when it comes down to the final battle between Count Dooku, Anakin, and Obi-Wan, of course, Anakin and Obi-Wan are sort of taken out of the fight, and then Yoda shows up. Well, Yoda doesn't use his lightsaber at all. It's complete. Him using his lightsaber is completely, it's completely gone. A lot of people look at that as weird. Some people have, I remember back in the day, they said that it was like you're going against what he says in episode 5, with all the stuff. I don't care. I always liked it, and I always thought it was a fun scene to watch. I love the fact that he's doing all these crazy flips and stuff, and then at the end he grabs his cane and he's like, oh God, oh, his body's not used to doing that kind of stuff anymore. So I always liked the scene for that, but that's gone now. So it just kind of, it's so different. It's so strange to see it that way, but I gotta say, overall, it's pretty dang good. Episode 2 was always my least favorite of the prequel movies. So to see this, I guess, with this sort of improvement, it's really, really well done. And I'm very appreciative of the work that went into this, because it's not easy. It's not easy to seamlessly do all of this stuff, and on top of that, do it in 5.1. I mean, that's That's really impressive. Episode 3 is called Labyrinth of Evil. And again, about 25 minutes taken out, from 2 hours and 20 minutes down to 1 hour and 55 minutes. Again, Hal9000 decides to put more deleted scenes in, and they are great. I don't remember seeing some of these. Obi-Wan is in this meditation room with Mace Windu and Yoda, and they're discussing Palpatine. And they're I guess, growing hesitancy to give him more power, and that he seems to be overstepping his boundaries a lot, and it's really kind of, it's raising their eyebrows. And so I really appreciated that. One of the criticisms I think from episode 3, from my standpoint, is that Padme seems to be just kind of along for the ride in a lot of the movie. She doesn't seem to have much to do except be there and be pregnant, and that's a bummer, because not only is Padme's character really, look, she's an interesting character, but Natalie Portman's a great actor as well. So to sort of waste her in that way was always kind of a bummer to me. So a lot of the deleted scenes surrounding the politics and I guess the growing ideas of a rebellion is really cool. You got Mon Mothma, you got Bail Organa, you got Padme sitting there all talking this out, and there's multiple scenes of that, and I really enjoyed it, and it made her story a lot more interesting. Like I said, not just in the back seat kind of going, hey, what are we doing now? Yoda barely uses his lightsaber at all in the entire movie. In fact, the only time that I remember him using it is during Order 66, right? And the 2 clones are behind him, and he jumps up and basically beheads them, and then leaves Kashyyyk, right? That's the only thing. That's the only scene where he uses it. So there's the scene where they, Obi-Wan and Yoda arrive at the temple and take out the clones outside. And then there's the scene where Yoda fights Sidious. All of that is gone. And in a way, I get it. I understand it. I really like that scene at the outside of the temple, but it's also, I think one of the reasons why I think that scene plays differently now, especially if you've seen the Clone Wars, is that it doesn't, look, the clones are doing what they've been programmed to do. They have a chip in their head, the inhibitor chip. So the fact that they just kind of wipe them out like that, it seems weird now. So in a way, even though I think the scene's cool, I'm kind of glad they took that out. It actually makes more sense when it comes to watching it with the Clone Wars. Going back a minute, the scene where Anakin comes in and starts, wiping out the temple, you don't see a whole lot of him doing that at the temple, but you do see the youngling scene. That's one of the most memorable scenes, I think, in any of Star Wars. It's kind of like, wow, that's going all the way. It's gone. It's gone in this edit. And I don't know really how I feel about it, because it's a horrific scene, but it also shows to me the depths of what Anakin has fallen to. That the dark side is no joke. And I kind of like that about that scene. It's gone now, though. So, or at least in this version. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's Hal9000's edit. Toward the end, when Padme is given birth to Luke and Leia, there's this moment that happens where the droid comes out to talk to Obi-Wan and Yoda and is basically saying she has lost the will to live. Hal9000 has changed those lines, and the line says something along the lines of she has sustained heavy injuries, basically, and all that sort of thing. I kept waiting for the death of Padme, and it never happened. There was no funeral. In fact, there's a deleted scene that I don't remember seeing showing Padme with Leia on Alderaan. And I was like, what? So Padme survived? I actually kind of like that. It makes more sense with Return of the Jedi when Leia says that she remembers her. Flashes, that she remembers of Padme. But I still like the fact that she survives the birth, right? I don't know. That's always rubbed me the wrong way. And especially she's just lost the will to live. Now, as I said, episode 1 didn't really change that much. It took out a lot of the goofy stuff. It was fine. But I've always liked episode 1, and it didn't really change what I thought of the movie. The edit, it didn't really change anything. Episodes 2 and 3, on the other hand, were completely different. Then it left me with a different feeling than I do when I watch episode 2 and episode 3, the original versions. These edited versions are so different that it actually makes me like the movies even more. It makes me appreciate different things about the story. And that is, to me, that is the sign of a great fan edit. I would give episode 1 like a 3.5 out of 4. Episodes 2 and 3, 3.75 out of 4. So almost perfect for me. Like I said, there's some scenes that I kind of wish were still in it, that he took out for mostly for either cheesiness or, I mean, whatever. I mean, look, it's not my edit, but still, these are really, 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 really fun to watch. And I really think that if you're a fan of Star Wars, yeah, you should check them out. Hal9000's Prequel Trilogy. Again, I had a great time watching them, and I'm kind of curious if anybody has already seen these. And if so, let me know down below what you think of them, because that's really, really awesome. And maybe we can debate some of the changes that he made and whether or not they should have been made. Or we can just talk about how great they are. That's fun too. But also let me know if you're going to go seek them out, because that's something that I'm really, really interested in. You know, it's like, do these fan edit reviews actually inspire people to go watch them? I think that's cool. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.